6:30, Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Good evening. First of all, I have a little paragraph I'd like to read. On behalf of the city of Way Park, we are saddened to inform you that we have lost one of our council members, Chuck Schneider. This is tough. Thought this was going to be easy. Chuck passed away on December 15th from cancer. Chuck has served on the city council for the past 13 years. Way Park always has had a special place in his heart, having been born and raised in the city. Chuck will be remembered for his support and dedication to the city staff, his work on River's Edge Park, the new public works facility, the water tower, and the amphitheater project. Chuck had a great ability to be open-minded and was a no-nonsense kind of guy who liked to get things done. Chuck will be missed by many here at the City of Way Park. Our thoughts and prayers are with his family. Services for Chuck will be held on Thursday, December 27th at the Miller Carlin Funeral Home. An obituary will follow. In honor of Chuck Schneider, we would like to take a moment of silence to remember him and his work for the City of Way Park. Thank you. Open forum. Is anyone here for the 2-minute open forum? Anyone here for 2-minute open forum? Anyone here? All right. Review and approve council agenda.
Motion to approve?
Do we have any additions or deletions?
No.
Nope, I don't
A
think
second.
so. Further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Passed unanimously. I had it here somewhere. Consent agenda. Here we go. Hopefully they're right? Item A, approve 10/1/18 city council minutes. Item B, approve position and pay grade listing. Item C, approve 2019 seasonal and part-time salary schedule. Item D, approve 2019 union and non-union salary schedule. Item E, approve resolution on police administration collective bargaining unit MOU for contributions to HSA. Item F, approve resolution on police officer collective bargaining unit MOU for contribution to HSA. Item G, approve resolution on maintenance worker collective bargaining unit MOU for contributions to HSA. Item H, approve resolution on non-union collective bargaining unit MOU for contributions to HSA. Item I, approve 2018 write-offs. Item J, approve investment policy. Item K, approve warming house attendant. Item L, approve 2019 department goals and objectives. Item M, approve 2019 appointments. Item N, approve 2019 massage enterprise and hotel motel renewal license. Item O, approve 2019 police officer appointment and approve eligibility list expiring 12/31/19.
I'd like to pull that item.
Item P, approve 2019 building official contract. Item Q, approve St. Cloud Radio Club agreement. Item R, approve resolution designating polling places for elections in 2019. Item S, approve public purpose expenditure policy amendments. And item T, approve landscape contract. Does somebody want to pull anything besides O?
I would like to pull L, N,
Wait a minute, L, N,
T.
T?
I'll move to approve all the others.
Second?
Further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Passed unanimously. Mike, let's do yours. Approve 2019 department goals and objectives.
Let's see, under the L, let's see. I gotta get it pulled up here quick. Oops. Getting better at this, but a little slow yet. Let's see my note here. Oh, under the public work mission goals, under that goal, it says something about doing engineering for the city. Do we want to leave that as engineering, or do you want to change that to assist engineering, maybe?
Engineering,
Just remit, because I don't think we do any engineering, do we, or,
engineering is underneath my budget item, so
pardon me?
engineering is underneath my budget,
He oversees that.
oversees it.
Boy,
Just like,
somebody's gotta
Oh, so,
oversee that.
yeah, I mean, then it should be maybe oversee the engineering, other than just the plain word engineering?
Well, it's in his job description is whatever, so it's
yeah,
it's part of his.
Just some minor things that, and then under the PD, it also asked, under the human trafficking, I noticed that the only ones on there are St. Cloud, Wade Park, and I believe, some of the Stearns County.
Those are the only members.
We don't want to try to add the other departments in the area onto that, or have we tried?
We have tried, and we're still in our first year, and there is potential for that down the road, but I think we have the partners that we're gonna have for at least this 2-year grant period that we're participating in, so. But it, in the future, that's always a possibility.
Okay. And under N, it was we haven't received a report or on the hotel licensing. How is that licensing working for the one that we have under? Is it one that we want to continue, or is something we need to talk about in the future?
I met with them, a week before last, and had a really good conversation with them. I think they're trying. We're gonna continue to work with them. So, I had some concerns about some, increases in calls for service, but when we kind of drilled down on the numbers, I had a little bit more peace of mind. And, particularly after talking with them, even more so. So I'm comfortable with renewing it again for another year.
And I remember looking through the fines and things for the city, there was no category for those, if they were to be cited.
I'm sorry, what was
The
it?
fines and the penalties.
Fee schedule.
That's,
Is it in there? I didn't see it. I was kind of looking and didn't
Yeah.
see it.
In the fee schedule, all of we don't put any of the fees in the actual ordinances, because when we want to amend just fees, we don't have to amend every single ordinance, so we do them all in the appendix.
I thought I looked through there and I didn't see them, but, okay. And the final one is just, these are just kind of wording things, so. Under, well, here it is. The contract license under T, for our landscaping coordinator. Let me get here. What the heck? Computers are good when they work. Can't fat finger them. it won't go to it. Anyway, it's just something quick in the contract.
Oh, that,
There-
I tried to load that at home too, Mike, it wouldn't load it,
Wouldn't
Yeah,
it?
No.
hit the top one,
wouldn't load it.
under that tab,
Try
hit
the
the
top
top,
one. Oh, there it is, yep.
there. Then it, no, it doesn't. For some reason, it's a little quirky.
Under the F section here of her contract, monitors and makes recommendations for city irrigation systems at City Hall, River's Edge, Wade Avenue, Community Park, Healthy Living Trails for proper function. Wouldn't we want that person to monitor all city properties? That would maybe have that. So that language should be changed to all city properties instead of specific ones?
Well, those are the only ones that we have irrigation in, so, I mean, if we had a system someplace, I would actually add that in, but those are the only ones that we do, so.
But I think for the future, it would probably be better to read all city product, or all city. That way we're covered all the way
Well,
through.
the other one too, we have it at Public Works, and we don't have her watch that one, that's done by our own staff, so. If that's your wishes, I can do that, if that's, but,
I would say you could leave it for this year as long as it's in there, and then next year just add any place where it's irrigated or whatever.
then I'll exclude Public Works if that's.
Just something to
better do.
cover us, so in the future, if we
That's
have
fine.
things,
I can do that.
that it would be covered, other than being specific on these things. Move to approve,
LNNT,
LNT.
Second,
further discussion. All in favor?
aye.
Opposed, passed unanimously. I would like to pull P for right now. We need some, I forgot about those. That's under the contract for the building official, and there's just a few minor corrections under item number 5, payment to contractor. The third line down where it says fees, it says scheduled monthly payments when it should cross off Jim Howe or other employee and put in there an employee or a subcontractor. One, two, three, 4. On the sixth line down, starts with City of Way Parks has obtained between their and certification, building official limited certification, and cross out for limited building inspector. On the second paragraph where it says 2018, on the second line down where it says 2017 crossed off, it should say, and it says 2019, it should say 2020. About halfway through, when the paragraph that starts described above is obtained in a year, that was 2020, it should say 2021. And the next paragraph down that starts with the, and the limited building should be crossed off, and it should say building official limited. So now I'll move to approve P
Second,
Second.
as corrected. All in favor?
corrected.
Aye.
Opposed, passed unanimously. And Vic, you're up.
All right, I would like to move for letter O, police officer appointment on approved eligibility list. I would like to make a motion that we make a conditional job offer to Allison Ingfer, subject to successful completion of a background check at grade 7, step 1, and maintaining the eligibility list to expire 12/31/19.
Second,
Further discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Passed unanimously.
Mr.
Regular
Mayor, one thing that we needed to do is on the fire captains. I just realized that if you just make a separate motion for the 2 fire captain positions, we'll add it to the actual appointments.
Because we didn't have that on.
Yeah,
Okay,
it was because it's part of that other
That's what I
one.
was gonna ask you.
Yeah, I just realized
Just gonna
that.
ask it,
Sorry.
so.
Go ahead and
I'd
do
like to make an appointment for our 2 fire captains, Adam Teason and Nathan Mose.
Second.
Further discussion. All in favor?
aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Passed unanimously. Now, regular agenda items. Final 2019 tax levy and budget capital improvement plan and gambling donation request. We had the public hearing on this last month, or last meeting, and this is just, we had to wait this time to do that, so. What's your wishes? We can just approve it.
Move to approve?
Second?
Second.
Further discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Passed unanimously. All right. Public hearing on Appendix B fees.
Wait, you have separate motions on that,
Got them all at once.
the gambling donation
Yeah, we got
request?
them all.
Oh, you
Yes.
did them all?
Yep.
Okay,
Okay.
I just wanted to make sure.
Item B, public hearing, Appendix B fee schedule. Please take notice that the Wake Park City Council will hold a public hearing at Wake Park City Hall, 13th Avenue North on Monday, December 17th, 2018, at 6:30 PM or soon thereafter to consider revision of Appendix B, Wake Park Schedule of Fee Charges. A copy is available at City Hall for review. All interested persons are invited and encouraged to attend or send written comments. It was dated the 28th day of November, 2018.
Public hearing is,
Public hearing is now open at 6:45. Oops, screwed that up. Is there anyone here for the public hearing? As soon as I get my thing back, I'll be in good shape. If not, we can close the public hearing at 6:46.
Motion to approve, to close?
Second,
second,
further discussion? All in favor?
aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Passed unanimously. And then we need to approve,
I'd like to make a motion to approve amending Appendix B, Wade Park Schedule of Fee Changes and summary publication as proposed.
For
Second.
2019.
further discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Passed unanimously. All right, item C, Unbank Company. Currency exchange license renewal. Please take notice that the Wake Park City Council will hold a public hearing on the 17th day of December 2018 at 6:30 PM or soon thereafter at the Wake Park City Hall located at 13th Avenue North, Wake Park, Minnesota, to consider the 2019 currency exchange license renewal for Unbank Company LLP located at 147 Division Street, Wake Park, Minnesota, 56387, pursuant to Minnesota Statute 53A.04. Anyone wishing to comment on the license renewal thereof should be in attendance or at the above stated time and place. It was dated the 5th day of December 2018. Is there anyone? Public hearing is open at 6:47. Is there anyone here that would like to speak? Chief, I'm assuming that we have no problems over there. Is there anyone here that would like to speak? Close the public hearing at 6:48.
I'll move to close the public hearing at when it's 6:48.
And at 6:40. Pretty soon.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? It is 6:48. Passed unanimously. Your wishes, I need a motion to approve that.
A motion to approve the Unbank Company currency exchange license renewal.
Second,
Further discussion? All in favor?
aye.
Opposed? Passed unanimously. And item D, Labuda Deferred Assessment Request. John, is that yours or is that Shauna's? Who wants it?
That's mine. I prepared the staff report. Would you like just a little quick rundown of it, or?
Yeah, short one. Yep.
Sure. The Labuda family has a large parcel at 23 and 137. Earlier this year, in anticipation of eventual sale of the property and marketing it as they move forward, we did an administrative lot split to break off a part of that property, and which was later sold to another party. In discussions with that amongst myself, I never thought honestly to bring up the issue of assessments. It's not something that typically comes up, but will from now on. Worked quite a bit with the realtors on that property and have had a lot of contact with different folks on it. During the closing of the sale process, when the realtors and the family were working with the title company, typically the assessments would come up, but unfortunately, due to some staff turnover there, it sounds like through several steps, the assessments never came up until city staff kind of identified it later. It was actually Carla noted it as a transaction that was coming through that even an administrative lot split under our policy does trigger the assessments, or at least a partial assessment to come through. So we sent notice on that to the family, and then at their request, we met with them to kind of discuss it. They don't dispute the amount that comes due now to the amount of about $20,000 and change, but they're requesting, because the property is being actively marketed for development, they would like to basically request an exception or exemption to include that deferment, push it off further with the eventual full assessments that will come due at time of development of that property. Myself and Terry and Carla met with them about 2 weeks back to explain the process, and they requested to make that request to the council, so we prepared the information accordingly. From my own perspective, and Terry and Carla are welcome to give their opinion as well, but I don't think it's unreasonable to grant this. It was kind of extenuating circumstances in my mind. I think the realtors and the family were good at doing their due diligence. It's just something that unfortunately through the process was kind of missed. Otherwise we would have addressed it, and they would have addressed it as part of their closing. So it is a council decision. It would be a policy decision, but this would be a one-time exemption to push that assessment down the road with the full assessment that'll come due at some point.
Terry, do you have anything that you want to add to that, or?
I think the only thing I'd say is that, you know, there are two things, really, two issues here. One is the assessment is deferred, but the second issue is what triggers that to become undeferred and levied. And you can go to the courthouse and you can find that it's deferred, but it took quite a bit of forensic work, I think, between Carla and I to find out, and I think an opinion from the attorney, to find out, you know, what exactly triggered the assessment. So I can understand, you know, some confusion that would be surrounded by that. And so having said that, I would agree with John and say that, you know, if we do this, it'd be a one-time thing. That would be my thoughts.
Carla, any thoughts?
Policy.
You were just there for the ride?
I was just there to collect the money.
All right. The motion says it should be to approve or deny the conditional use,
Yeah, I wonder
use
if
permit.
that's
That's not right, is it?
No,
It
it's
should be, it should be.
No,
to-
I'll own that error.
To approve or deny the request to defer the payment of $20,000 some odd dollars until further development, or, so.
Don't we want, wouldn't we want to be, if we're gonna give that, wouldn't we want to be specific this time as to what would drive the deferred amounts to be collected?
I think we have that, it just wasn't, it was missed in here. It's subdivision, it's building permits, it is,
But
certain-
if
If
they
you-
divide a small little part of the property again,
yeah, right.
Yes.
we're gonna have the same issue.
Yes. Typically what it has been is that if the property is subdivided, if there's utilities that are connected to it, city utilities that are connected to it, or ownership, or what, no.
Not just a sale, but
This,
if it's subdivided.
Even a
if it's just
subdivision.
subdividing it, or if you're
Plating.
collecting. Plating, that's what it was. I'm
I
sorry.
think Terry hit it when he's, you know, we could make it into the motion that it'd be deferred on a one-time basis.
But do we want to
But
start,
if they subdivide again,
this would be my question would be, if we do it one time for one person, and this has always been kind of drummed into us, is we have to have some very specific things that would allow it so that, take some of the other developers that have property out there, come with the same thing, and they want their amounts deferred, we would have to then defer them again. And when does the deferment stop?
Stops
And-
tonight because now we know what we're doing.
Well,
It does and it doesn't, because there is, and I've kind of worked with some other people, found out some of this information. The deferments do sunset after a period of time.
30 years.
So if in fact it would go past that sunset, then we would lose all those deferments. And I think that's why when we build them in, some requirements that trigger the deferments to be collected is the time that they should be collected. You know, hate to sound like a hard head on it, but that is, it's a thing, and I know from working with some people, that come that 25th, it becomes a problem. Like I said, it was very hard to find the information on what triggers the deferments to be paid. Unless we specifically put in here that they be paid any further splitting or replatting or any of that type of thing. You know, it's gonna have to be a pretty specific thing so that we can make sure that we collect these deferments.
I don't think the issue was so much with that it making clear what the policy was at the time that it was adopted. I think it's the tracking mechanism because the county is the one that provides a lot of the information on the assessments. It's the tracking mechanism between city assessments and the county system and doing things like that. Am I wrong on part of that analogy?
Well, and I'll defer to Carla. I think the county had it correctly deferred.
Truthfully,
It was the
it
question
was-
of
it was
what makes it come due.
it was on the deferred, future are not on the county books, but the deferred are. And so they were on the books.
Right, and so just not to confuse the matter, there are future assessments, but they are based on a future development of the property, which nobody knows until it happens. But I think to address your thing, Mike, maybe we ought to go back and look at that, because later on, we did draft a deferred assessment policy, kind of a overall thing, that maybe we could amend so that we say that it's deferred for 29 years, unless one of these other triggering mechanisms happen, or if it doesn't, at year 30, it becomes.
due.
How many do we have deferred out there? Do we have any idea?
You know, there aren't that many property owners out there. The Labudas obviously are the largest.
Because they
I
may
wanna
not all
say
be
it might
deferred.
be-
They may not all come due at the same year, was what I'm getting
Right,
at. So
exactly.
they should all be individual. They should say not deferred for 29 years. They should actually be deferred until
Up until-
December 31st,
Or-
2042, or whatever that is, or no later than those days, or whatever.
Is there any reason this couldn't be tabled so we have a chance to go through it and come back next meeting? Does it have to be done tonight?
The challenge with that is that the assessments are coming due now. And so it's
Because of the end of the
The
year.
county already has them,
mean-
so we have to make a decision.
So because of the end of the year, that's what happened in this one. I mean, I would move to approve this one and then make those corrections. And we could even add that, I don't think, the Buddhas, is this part of, I don't think you'd be against saying, the new one would say that your assessments would come due no later than December 31st,
Whatever that is.
2047, or whatever, that's 30 years from now, or something.
or
you know?
upon platting, a lot split, or utilities being
Yeah,
connected.
no later than that.
Right, with those same conditions.
It would say
Yes.
no later than that.
2048.
No, you'd want to go from the original date of the
Come on, listen to
deferment.
him.
Part of the reason it got missed was that the house isn't attached to the piece of property that got sold. It was just a one-time administrative split that we brought through to the city. They said they were fine with it, the paperwork went through. We still own the house, we still own the property with the house. It's still 250 feet off the road, just like it was when we made that agreement back when you guys purchased the property from us, that it was a 250-foot variance that left us away from that 19,000 some odd dollars. And then with the additional, I don't remember how Terry explained it, that brings it to 20,400 and some odd dollars. It's not that we're disputing that. We just never received that letter that the rest of the people that were getting that assessment, we just were part of the process of being deferred because we were 250 feet away. The only assessments we knew about were the ones that Terry's talking about that are for future developments and or for subdividing, or if somebody would buy the property and develop it. We completely understand that now that money is owed. We have got no issue with paying that when the house sells, or if that piece of property with the house sells.
I think all of those assessments were talked about at the hearing, and everybody was noticed about
Yes,
all of the
they were.
assessments,
I don't know about the
including-
19,000,
Yeah, that
whatever
was
odd dollars.
included in that
I know I
same-
heard about the 180
Yeah.
some thousand at that time you were assuming was
Yeah.
gonna be part of the assessment for the pipe.
I remember the hearings too,
Yeah.
but when we're required by law to be able to provide all of that information related to future assessments, deferred assessments, and current assessments, and all that stuff was provided. I think in this case, similar to what you mentioned is, it was a lot split, that's where it got triggered, and it wasn't something got caught right away, and so
Right.
you weren't aware of it at that time, but it was something, it's happened so many years ago,
Right.
that, sometimes those things occur. So I think it's clear on how those assessments are triggered. I don't think that's the issue. I think it was the fact that it was the lot split piece that got missed on that part of it.
I think, to Mike's point, do we need a list of findings as to why we would do this? And that prevents us from having to do it for someone else,
Yeah, I would go along with that we're doing it on this case just
because of these reasons.
because of these reasons, and I think,
Right.
you can come up with that. And then I think it would be a good idea for us to get the half a dozen or how many deferred assessments we have out there and put that end date on it, paid no later than type of date to trigger that. Or, if it's subdivided, built on, all that kind of stuff, but no later than no matter what date. So we don't miss $200,000 in 28 years from now or whatever, so.
And the rest of the property, just so you're aware, is for sale. So it's not like we're waiting for the 20-year or 30-year mark to mystically go by and, unless our realtor is really lacking in her experience, I'm guessing.
Okay, all right.
That's why.
All right, thanks.
And Mayor and Council, I would just note that this is something that it's rare enough that I just didn't cross my mind to bring up as part of the discussions, but, I'll bear the experience and we'll try to keep it in mind for future discussions when we have that kind of development or admin splits or anything that could trigger it, just to keep in mind and be sure folks are aware of that we do a little more due diligence on our end to try and bring it up to them and not necessarily rely on the other parties involved to do that. Just
Right.
add that additional layer, so
Give-
keep this question from coming up again, hopefully.
Put it on your
Give-
checklist of things.
Give me a motion then that would cover this one-time deal. Do that now, if you can.
That's what I was gonna ask.
I would recommend granting it due to extenuating circumstances in that the deferment was not identified by staff and at city and/or Stearns County during the title review
search
closing process.
I'll move that motion.
And to include then, if you're gonna, what I would include in that is that those are your reasons,
Yes.
and that you're going to defer it,
Yep.
but
Further-
those deferred assessments are going to be triggered upon any additional lot splits,
Right.
plating, or utility connections,
I'll
Per
second that.
existing policy.
yeah.
Add that to the motion.
Vic
I'll second
it.
that one.
Vic second it. Further
Are we
discussion?
done piling on this one? Can we add some more?
I think we piled on enough. Any more discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Passed unanimously. And then, yeah, it'd be nice, Terry, I don't know if it's you, Terry, or whatever, that we should look at those deferred assessments and get them all individually and make sure the courthouse has got it. It says that no later than these dates, they will be paid, even if nothing's done to the property.
Would that have to come back for a public hearing, though?
I don't think so, would it?
I'm actually thinking what might be a good idea, I'm just thinking out loud, is that if we identify that maybe annually, we just have a list of those deferred assessments that get some type of an approval, so that they're always in front of us.
Yeah. wouldn't
That
be a
might
dumb
not
idea.
be a bad idea.
Yeah, because you might have one that expires February of 2019,
there's
and
other
now all of a sudden, we're
projects out
sitting
there,
here
yeah.
at a December meeting saying, whoa, we forgot about that one.
Well, I'd make a motion to that effect.
Well, how about we come up with the
How about they
process
come up with a
first? That's just
policy
a
first?
housekeeping.
I think we need to just get it out there and get it done.
All right, let's see. Bills.
No.
We don't have any bills. Huh, good deal.
No bills this month?
City's got money.
Merry Christmas.
All right. I don't have anything. Shauna, you got anything?
Just the coalition's lobbying day, I know may seem like a long time away, but it's scheduled for January 30th. And so if you're interested in attending that, just let me know and I'll get you registered for that. Otherwise,
Next meeting?
Means January.
January 7th is the next meeting. Yep. And did I forget something, Mike's, oh, are you motioning because you want to go? Oh, okay, I'm sorry, I was trying to figure out what that was.
What am I? Donna,
Otherwise, I have nothing.
All right, Terry? Bill? John? Chief?
Well, sir,
Carla? Keith? No. Gordon Jr.? All right, we're adjourned at
Gotta have a name.
7:06.